Yes. You good usage. Good job, JRD. I'm proud of you. So proud. Well, hello. You know the universal greeting. What's up, Aaron? Or Aaron? Or Aaron? Or Aaron? Chill. You know the routine. What up, Carlos? Checking in for duty, reporting from the front. JRD says, I got my 32-ounce brew ready to go. Birdman gift. That's what's up. What's up, people? Ready to rock and roll? Good to see you again. Welcome to, you know what this is. I'm not going to ID it yet. Um, we'll let people get in here and get comfortable. We had another storm. It seems like every end of the week for the past 2 months, 3 months, has been a tornado or a monsoon, or we had flash flood. We have flood warnings. You know, do you have those alerts on your phone where it just scares the hell out of you when it starts going meh? 1 in the morning, flash flood warnings, and I mean it was obvious because you know the part you've seen Poltergeist, right? The original John, not that new garbage, where the little boy is getting terrorized by the tree outside his window, the shadow of the tree. And then it's storming. And then there's skeletons coming out of the pool hole. And the tree comes through the window. I was having poltergeist flashbacks. So many flashbacks. Paul Pate's ready. The crew was ready. JRD says, yes, sir. When you say that, JRD, you got to do this. Yes, sir. Been looking forward to this. It's been another insane week here in General Hospital. We need that organ music. Last week on General Hospital. Last week on Coffee Break with JM. You only move the headstones. You only move the headstones. Wah! Yo, can we talk? You gotta play. Is it Thursday yet? Can we play D&D now? That's my favorite thing all day. I kept thinking in the back of my head, that voice. Is it Thursday yet? I love this. I'm just even on the IDs for the coffee break. I'm just going, is it Thursday yet? You know what it means. Here's a great post-millennial thing. Try to explain or set it up so the kids watch Poltergeist. There's so many things that don't work anymore. First, you have to explain. As I remember, I was dealing with my my work study students, and this is years ago, where I said, "Have you guys watched Poltergeist?" And they're like, "No, what's that?" And then I had to like bite my lip. I was like, "Okay, I get it." I told them, like, you know what, your homework for the weekend is you guys have to go watch Poltergeist. Like, go somewhere, turn the lights off, and watch Poltergeist. They came back on Monday, like, really confused. I'm like, well, what happened? And they're like, well, first off, we were confused because there was static on the television. And I was like, right. So back in the day, television didn't go on all night long for 24 hours a day. It went off. What? Yes, the TV programming for the television day went off. Then you got the barcodes and the Indian head, and the jets flew over, and then it was over, and then it was just static. And they were like, yeah, that seems weird. So there's like all these little disconnection points in a movie like that doesn't make sense. It's still one of my favorite movies. Sip of coffee for Craig T. Nelson. Joe Beth Williams. I love the long hallway scene. It's one of my favorite things, and also how like Joe Beth Williams had leveled up by the end of the movie, where she's got the white stripe in her hair. It's so good. Yo, what up, Thriller? Yo, we over here. We in here. Good to see you. It was great hanging out with you guys last night on Pencil to Pencil. We had a great boot camp. I think we had a lot of fun last night. Anybody that missed the live, I shouldn't even have to say this. You go back and watch it. It doesn't melt. It doesn't disintegrate. It's not ice that melts away. You go check that out. Mike and I did some deep diving and talked about shot direction. And JRD is always here for the further adventures of Man Bun Man. But yeah, Mike and I talked about some really good, just like structural storytelling. And sometimes I think that gets lost in the misty haze of loving comic books and cartooning. Is that, and I even said this on the podcast last night, I think you have to kind of pull yourself away from the magic of somebody taking something from nothing and just like their hand moving and things come away from it on the paper and like, wow, that's so cool. But you're missing the point of what's actually happening. Like disconnecting yourself from the magic trick and going, okay, well, this makes sense now. Establishing shots on a comic page makes sense. So you understand where the people are before you go deeper into the storytelling. Makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, it's all, if any of you guys have ever, for my cartoonists or my illustrator friends, if you ever did a talk in front of a bunch of kids and you're like, okay, this is what we're going to do when you start drawing, and then the whole room blows up and they're all like, draw SpongeBob, draw, draw. And like they've totally forgotten what you're supposed to be doing because they're just into the magic trick. JRD says, I'm glad Mike talked about the emotion of storytelling and which panels work best. Sometimes dynamic isn't best. Well, yeah, I mean, I'll die on that hill. I think sometimes people get so caught up in like, jumping through the window with 9,000 pieces of glass around you. But it's like, does that serve the story? Right. And you don't always need that, but also like, the talking head scenes, it's really hard to make engaging. So it's a balance. It's in every storyteller tells a story differently. Aaron says, learn how to draw someone sitting in a chair from watching that episode. He makes it look easy. Well, you know how that works. It's all about structure, and you do that stuff enough, it starts to get easier. One of my favorite things is, and I'm sure all of you understand what I'm talking about, is when you level up in your art. And that usually happens in the middle of a project or a campaign or whatever you're working on, where you may struggle with a drawing or struggle with a pose or struggle with some element of storytelling, and you're like, oh man, and you're racing, like, this isn't right. And then somewhere in the middle of the work, you just do it and it just happens. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't so hard. And then the next time it's easier, and then it's easier. And, I say that because I'm a video game dork. I feel like, I'll say at the end of a project, wow, I leveled up like 3 times in this book. Or like even in Leon the Extraordinary, I got to a point where I was like, oh, wow, okay, boom, boom, boom. It was probably around page 250. I was just like, oh, yeah. Right. Aaron gets it. Things just click. Exactly. You get that ding. And that's such a great feeling. And it just happens. You can't ever call it. But I guess it's all about just kind of, time in the chair. Yeah, grab yourself some coffee. Let's have an amazing time. Yes. Sip of coffee for my caffeines out there. What are we sipping on tonight? Let's do a sound off. Is anybody drinking with me? What are we drinking? Suze, what's up, Suze? Missed you around. It's good to see you. JRD with the old movie check-in. One of my favorites, Dial M for murder scenes, is when Hitchcock shifts to a bird's eye for when the lead is describing the details of how the murder will take place when all the other scenes were mid-shots. Yeah, I mean, for anybody that's into visual storytelling, so you draw comics, you draw greeting cards, whatever. There's always some information to take from other forms of storytelling. Um, you know, listening to the way a good comedian structures a joke um, is an art form. Watching old black and white movies where everything was staged and everything meant something in those old movies. The master classes. Carlos, you sipping on some yak. Watch out, that yak gonna break your back. Ah, that's what's up. I'm not a big cognac guy, but you know, it's nice to sip on something nice though. Sue's coming out the gate real hot, guns hot. Do we need an ID? All right, I'll do that for you. Anything for you, Suze. Oh, I'm in the wrong joint. You're watching Coffee Break with JN with your favorite Grand Poobah of indie comics, the ambassador of Philadelphia. You like that one? That's a new one. And for boot camp on Pencil to Pencil, comic art supply, gunnery sergeant Jamar Nicholas reporting for duty. What happens here? Well, you get to watch me drink this coffee representing my Pennsylvania mug. It's got all types of Pennsylvania in there. Does that say used? I haven't never really looked at this. If it's from Pittsburgh, you'll say Yens. The PA Turnpike, the Liberty Bell, all types of stuff. I'm going to spill this and run my mouth. And when I'm out of coffee, end of line. Hello. Oh, while I'm at it, a sip of coffee for my caffeines. You know who you are, caffeines, the friends and regulars. Tell them, Sue's not decaf. Of Coffee Break with JN. Hello. Well met. Suze loves the crawl. I love it. Clean. What's up, girl? How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Parmesan cheese. Oh, that's kind of a stretch, but I like it. That's right. You tell him. Paul Pate, what up? Paul Pate's got me doing the Kilroy. Jamar, do you think those old classic vampire movies where you think the good guys would finally kill the last vampire, but suddenly that one dude in the back of the pickup truck is a vampire, and the movie ends and you can't sleep because you're a scared little kid? You like those? Yeah, like a lot of those are like 80s joints, right? Like one of my favorites is Fright Night. Welcome to Fright Night. With my man, it was like, what was it? The blonde kid with the spiky hair who turns into a vampire. And my man goes in the house and he's trying to find his mom and the vampire kid's in the kitchen. And he takes the note off the microwave and he goes, apparently dinner is in the oven. And he's got the creepy close-up of his teeth. Yeah, I love those movies, man. I also like Lost Boys. I was sniffing around on one of those T-shirt sites looking for a ironic Lost Boys shirt, and usually most of the Lost Boys stuff is the oiled up saxophone guy because he's popular now. It's so out of context. But I was looking for. Would you like some noodles, Michael? Or whatever that scene is where Kiefer Sutherland gives my man the Chinese food and there's like maggots in it. And there's just noodles, Michael. So such a classic movie. But all that stuff. Oh, you chilling with some ice cream? Oh, I missed it. Yasir says, "Well, I'm sipping on some cinnamon caramel pumpkin spice coffee. Nice. You sipping nice, bruh. With some ice cream cake. Wow, that sounds rich. Sounds good. Yeah, JRD gotta show some love for Roddy McDowell. um, but yeah, it's we've talked ad nauseum about how a lot of '80s stuff is just not appropriate in today's environment, or even with young people, where what they call it cringe. Oh, that's so cringe. Where it's like, oh, I know a lot of my buddies with kids have had the Star Wars. Well, I think you know the kids getting old enough. I think it's time for Star Wars, but they have their own Star Wars now. They don't need you. But there was also the thing with the John Hughes movies, and I'm not going to talk about John Hughes movies too much because I feel like we've talked through this. This went into the ground, but there was one point I was in New York and I went to one of my favorite haunts, the Book Off, near Bryant Park. And if you're not familiar, Book Off is a Japanese used bookstore chain that has all this stuff in there. There's like video games and appliances and Nintendo Wii's, and they have like a crazy DVD, like half the store are DVDs. Yo, Carlos, you like CDs? And I always just pick stuff up, and like I we talked about physical media last time, but I like that stuff. And I got a box set of John Hughes movies, and I think it was, you guys could probably even know which ones. It was the Molly Ringwald collection. And Molly wasn't in all of them, but was she? She wasn't in Weird Science. So okay. So it was Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, and Weird Science, I think, was in this 3-pack. And I think I brought it to the office, and I was just like, oh wow, I would have to have weird conversations with all of these movies now. And probably the least, I don't know, what's the least modernly offensive John Hughes movie is there? It might be Breakfast Club, because people say, I've been watching some deep dives about Breakfast Club, and they just talk about how screwed up it is. Clean says, we're watching the Muppet Show on Disney Plus. There's a lot of moments. Oh, well, you know what? I also have to say, I'm sorry to report my numbers are down because the Eagles are playing the Patriots right now. And what was I thinking, having coffee break at the same time every week when football's starting? Yeah, the original. Yeah, it was. There's a lot of innuendo and just kind of like weirdness. I have to say weirdness. 16 Candles is rough. Just the race undertones with Long Duck Dong is just that. I mean, that's enough right there. Because every time my man would show up on the screen, you'd hear a gong. So bad. Colleen says Breakfast Club is probably the least offensive. I've seen some young people dig into Breakfast Club. JRD, I'm not putting that on screen. Yo, but it's the Eagles. Colleen says, actually, there's more racial stuff in the Muppets than sexist. Huh. Yo, what up, Trey? Trey was in the pencil last night, like the Wire gif where my man's like, Trey was in the chat like, yo, for real. It was great. I hope you got some really good jewels out of the podcast last night, bro. And and I love that we could come together for revival in Tabernacle at things like this. I love that you guys are in the chat just saying hello to each other and talking about cookie recipes. Um, yeah, and it's I guess you wouldn't know what's going on in the chat if you're not actually here in the chat live. But there's two or three conversations going on at the same time, and I think as Coffee Break gets more popular, we start getting that, what did I call it, the Guitar Hero effect, where there's just like stuff scrolling up the side of the screen, and my undiagnosed ADHD can only handle so much, so I might miss stuff, or there's just some stuff that's spicy I don't really want to talk about. So don't feel like I'm ignoring you, or maybe you can think I'm ignoring you, but I'm just curating the chat. Yeah, man, this is what it's about, man. And last night it was funny. This was probably one of the first times on Pencil to Pencil that I really talked about my scholastic stuff. I usually don't, but I think the longer we do the show, I think the easier it is for people to not really understand that the hosts are pros. I think you look at a lot of podcasts or whatever, and there's whoever's hosting the thing or running the thing, you think is just like a talking head, right? But when you find out that they're actually people in the business, it changes the temperature, I think, of how you view the show. That's just my opinion. So, I'll big up my stuff. Why not? Johnny Carson. What's the shirt? Oh, this is my Give Peace a Chance shirt. It says peace, unity, love, and having fun. Jared D says, "Oh, my wife wants to make a sticker that I blame you for. The sticker will say, I know, no, notorious." Dude, man, one of the best things in the world is to get love from people, GRD, and for you to get a nickname, right? I see you on the internet. I see people, they're like, no, notorious. Come on, it's got to feel good. There's no face palms. You gotta eat that. You gotta live it. Yeah, I'm streaming on YouTube right now. I'm doing this on the Pencil to Pencil channel as well as on Facebook. So if you're more comfortable over there, jump over. I always do this in a couple places, but for a while, for maybe the beginning half of doing the podcast live, and I had been doing Coffee Break way before we started doing Pencil to Pencil. I kept them separate, and then I figured, like, why not add more content to Pencil, and maybe if you enjoy my stylings from Pencil to Pencil, you'll be interested in Coffee Break. The two totally different things. I know the numbers are different, when we're doing a boot camp versus when I'm here drinking coffee and running my mouth. They might be different audiences a little bit. But, I'm always curious about not what people get from the different podcasts, but what people are here for, if that makes sense. So if you want to share, that'd be interesting. I wonder if there are people that don't watch Pencil to Pencil but watch Coffee Break on the channel. It's interesting. Oh, well, you know what? I have a YouTube channel that's just my name, but I don't put any content on it. I just push everything at Pencil to Pencil. So you're good where you're at. Hello, ladies. I'm here for the ladies. And for the ladies, what? We've got a male exotic dancer. Ooh. That's for Carlos. Everybody's a comedian. You're here for the cheesesteak buffet. I don't think those two things work in the same sentence. I remember once I was at some VIP thing at the ballpark at Citizens Bank Park. I have no idea why. I like baseball, but I don't go to baseball games. It must have been some sort of event. Or you know what? I think I might have been helping a buddy out. That's what it was. One of my buddies used to do event planning, and sometimes he needed extra help or extra hands. And I would get my event T-shirt, my event polo, and I would go help herd cats for him. So one of the events was at the ballpark, and these are like VIPs for something. They're like Pfizer reps or something like that, and you got to show them a good time. So they rented out a whole side of the ballpark, and then right next to the there's like a couple of bars inside the ballpark. They have like an outdoor seating thing that they can rope off. And I think they got all the beer they could drink, and they had a cheesesteak buffet. And none of these people were from Philly, and they left half of the stuff sitting in there because they were afraid to eat it. And I was just like, I was hungry too. And you can't, you're working, you just can't go, can I get one? Like, because that's not a good look. So I just had to like let it sit there and congeal. I was mad. A lot of fallen soldiers in that buffet. Clean says, coffee break is for the community and the random conversations. That's so Raven. That's so JM. I appreciate the audience participation with coffee break. Thank you, Clean. Yeah, it's different on the other things. Like, we don't have this. Trey says, a friend recommended me this channel, and I watched the episode with Kari, and I love that. Yeah. Kari, sip of coffee for Kari. He's the one that leveled up my lighting game. Was when he came on and he had like the cool like purple effect in the studio. I was like, fam, what is that? He's like, I got these color joints. And I was like, oh, word? So yeah, shout out to Kari for leveling me up. Anyway, Trey says, I was like, I need to watch more of this. Facts. Saw that and Dawood was on. I literally lost my mind. Yeah, man, all your dreams come true. A pencil to pencil. And also on kind of a shout out for the Patreon. It's some deep diving. I haven't done any of these in a while, but I have these things called Thank You for Having Me, where I do a one-on-one interview with a creative. And there's some stuff on there I think you'll really enjoy. I did a chat with Rob Stoll, who's an amazing creative from Boston. He's been anchor in the comic book business for a long time. He's just a brilliant dude. A lot of really great chats. But yeah, man, a whole lot of superstars come through here, bruh. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. And Trey, you add a lot of value to the community. Everybody gives you love when you come through. I'm sure when you wake up, you go, is it Thursday yet? Facts. Oh, that's nice. You guys are nice. Clean says it's more formal. Pencil to Pencil has moments. Kari episode was great. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Thriller. Sue says, Jerry Kraft, are you paging Jerry Kraft? Pee Wee Herman. Paging Pee Wee Herman. Are you still on here? Is there an order I should read your books in or just dive in? I'll leave that up to Jerry. Yeah, to meet up and have fun. I would love, once we get a little further through this stuff, to have a coffee break meetup in person at a show. I think that would be fantastic. And I'm going to put, somebody's got to step up and be in charge of that. Maybe Suze or Kitty Wong, or maybe Trey will do it. That's on the Patreon. It's like, because you use tags in the Patreon. If you go into the TYFHM, the Thank You for Having Me one, you'll see that one with Rob. Actually, I need to do a part 2. We only did part 1. We talked so long. I was like, bro, I gotta go. We need to do another part of this. So yeah, just do some deep diving, and you should be able to find it. Aaron says, I like how laid back Coffee Break is. Thank you. And like how supportive you and Mike Manley and Mike Hawthorne all are of each other. Wait a minute. That's a lot of our. I like how laid back Coffee Break is, and I like how supportive you and Mike Manley and Mike Hawthorne all are of each other. Are on the other podcasts. Okay, I got it. You all hype each other up and cheer each other on. Yo, that's what the family's for. And I've said this before, and probably on It Ain't Hard to Tell, that it's, without sounding sappy, kind of what we do is really special. There's not a lot, like, what was it, the Biggie line where he thought Heavy D and Salt and Pepper was sharing limousines. It's not really like that in comics. There's a lot of there's a lot of fakeness. There's a lot of acquaintances. And a lot of people wouldn't like big up other people for no reason. There's no clout chasing. My man Mike Hawthorne is drawing Wonder Woman. I was the first one out there like, yo, check it out, my man. That's my dog. That's my dog. Who else is doing that stuff? It's a real small line of people that big up the other people, right? I was just talking about that on Pencil to Pencil last night, where some young lady got at me and was just like, I need an artist. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. But here's 3 names of some friends that'll probably do a fantastic job for you. That doesn't cost me anything. But yeah, Aaron, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Did my sound go out? Can you not hear me? Jerry Craft. That's the perfect order. You read Jerry Craft's books in my book. Sip of coffee for Jerry Craft, Newbery Medal Award winning Jerry Craft, New York Times bestseller list Jerry Craft, one of the contributing authors to Black Boy Joy. What a fantastic book. Jerry Craft, the world is yours, brother. Even the dog agrees. Aaron, you're cool. Don't worry about it. Oh, I missed it. Coffee check. All right, let's do a coffee check for Fletch. All right, you ready? We started at the top. Now we're here. Oh, well, you know what? This could be 75. This is a Suze, you ready for it? This is a squatty large cup of coffee, so the depth might be a little off. You remember DJ Squatty Large? Sue says Matt reminded me not to miss coffee break all day long. Is that a post-it note next to the car keys? Pick up milk, take out the trash. Don't forget coffee break with JN. When he went out the door tonight to meet up with his friend, and said, "Don't forget coffee break." That's fantastic. Love you guys. Thank you. Oh, I just did one. Did I miss that? All right. Yeah, I did that. That's right. Jerry Craft is a fantastic storyteller. That's right. Doggles is down for Jerry Craft. Khalid says you got to get the graphic of the mug to match the shape of the mug you're using for the show. It's not in the budget. DJ Squatty Large, a full effect, brother. That's what's up. You guys are fun. Sorry about the dog. It's what's funny. I remember, like, I've had a dog for a while now, and when I got a dog, I was telling people it was kind of like a learning process because I didn't grow up with dogs, and this is my first dog, and I was like, "Yo, we got a dog," and people were like, kind of like, they're like mad confused, like, "You got a dog?" Like, yeah, is that okay? You got a dog? Yeah. What? Like, can I not get a dog? Is that an issue? You ready? What they said? That's exactly what they said. I thought you were a cat person. So I did some soul searching. I still think it's funny that you. I guess I don't know. It's not like Pepsi and Coke, right? Can't you have both? Was that gif? Can't we have both? So, but I think a lot of cartoonists wind up being cat people, like Natasha. Was it named Natasha Kitsky, whatever that woman's name was? Um, because they just kind of do their thing. And you don't really have to keep them. Like a cat's going to do whatever a cat wants to do, and could give a damn what you can't order a cat to do anything. And I think that pairs well with the lifestyle of a cartoonist because you just like you're in this room, I'm just doing my thing, and then the cat is like scratching, so I give it some food, and then I go back to what I'm doing. Clean says you 100% can have both, but dogs require a lot. They need consistency and scheduling. Yeah, I think I can handle that. JRT is giving a plug for himself. What they call that in wrestling, you're putting yourself over or going into business for yourself, JRD. This is a very soft plug for JRD's AMA. He's been trying to get questions for. So JRD got a total of 26 questions. I may be staying up late. Why did you keep asking for questions? You know what? I gave JRD a couple questions for his AMA. And then I gave him like 3, and then he was like, yo, I need more questions. And I started to think to myself, how many questions are you going to answer? So, but I'm excited to see what happens. Sue says, Manly's cat cracks me up just wandering in frame while wandering in the frame while y'all shooting. Yeah. Facts. Jerry Kraft says, ain't nobody got time to walk a dog when you're a deadline. But you know what, though? Here's the thing. Like one of the things that I think has kept me sane is having to get up to walk the dog. Like it's really good for me to clear my mind. And I do a lot of thinking while I'm walking the dog, or just kind of gives me a little bit of a respite. Oh, that's a humble brag. 26 questions in the past 20 minutes. You might have to put a cap on that. Clean says, I joke my dog is like having a toddler. He's busy into all kinds of nonsense. Always into something. Gotta watch him. My cat is like a teenager. I remember, Clean, you always had the analogies with pets and people. My cat is like a teenager. She does shit to push my buttons and then skates out the door to sulk. That's great. Trey says, I love dogs so much. I smother them, they smother me. They get on my nerves when I'm trying to concentrate, and I low-key love it at the same time. Have you seen that dude on the socials? This is kind of old now. This dude who's just like loving on his cats. And I guess he's just like a hood cat. Not the cat. The dude is like a hood dude. And he's like sitting in his bathtub wearing like gold chains and like giving his cat a bath and kissing it. People are like, yo, because that's like the most anti-gangster thing you could do is give a cat a bath. And kiss it and tell it that you love it. I don't know if that's street appropriate. Jared D says, a lot of what I was getting were questions that are short answer questions. This one patron is going nuts. I may have to do 2 videos. Now you know how I feel. Exactly like that. And I know a lot of people that have like alternative pets, like people with rats and snakes and like Gila monsters and stuff like that. I'm not a reptile dude. I'm not into rodents either. Like I get it. Yeah, your rat is cute, but I can't rock with it. I'm sorry. Yeah, look at that. We're breaking the patriarchy. That's modern strength, showing your vulnerability, bathing with your cat. I think it was for views, but I can't hate on a dude. Clean says, I've had all above gecko, not Gila monster though. Wow. I had a giant fish tank for a long time. I had a 90-gallon aquarium in our apartment. And that is a lot of work. That's its own, I guess you can qualify keeping a fish tank as a hobby, right? Like having like a little beta fish, not a beta male, having just like a little fish in a fish bowl and you sprinkle some stuff in it. That's right. Cleve remembers I had a fish guy. So, yeah, sip of coffee for Fish Mike. I had a lot of canceled checks in my checkbook that said Fish Mike monthly maintenance, and that stuff just takes a lot of work. And if you're not careful, you'll flood your house. It was, you know what? It was the most beautiful thing when it was up, and my man Fish Mike just came through, and he'd be in there. He'd come to the spot, and he'd be in there for like an hour. Like he had like special tools, and he would come in with like 4 buckets and like a siphon hose, and he would like with care. I love anybody that does anything with care. Like he pulls out the little fake plants in the aquarium, and he's just like, right. And when he would leave, I would happily write him his check, and that fish tank was sparkling, and people will come through and like, yo, that's a nice fish tank. You know, it's like you're rewarded with, I guess, the expertise of an expert doing an expert job. And you know, just it couldn't come with us when we left that place, and it like I lugged that from a couple of places to where we left it, and it brought me a lot of joy, but it was a lot of work. There's nothing worse than the fish tank when it needed care, because the water would kind of like evaporate off, and you had to keep topping it off, and you got to put the water treatment in it, and you got to make sure the fish are cool, and then you just can't go buy random fish and dump it in it because it messes with the ecosystem of the tank. And I remember once my cousin, like when I got this fish tank, people were like, "Oh, yo, I'm gonna bring some fish." I'm like, "All right," and then I learned later you just can't dump fish in the fish tank. My cousin came through once with a shark, and he was like, "Yo, I got a shark." Dumped it in. By the weekend, all my fish were gone. Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have Aquarium Tycoon. I'd play that. Jerry Kraft says, I had sea monkeys. They were a lot easier than fish. Did you get them out the back of the comic book? Carlos says, like that old guy from Toy Story 2 that had to fix Woody, right? That's so great. Clean says, fish are so sensitive in tanks. It is complicated. You turn into like a minor biologist or marine biologist or something. Like I'm in there with the test strips, checking pH levels. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know if you don't do it, your tank looks like crap. Right. So, and I don't know much about the fish tank community. I'm sure there's Facebook groups just with aquarium people. I remember seeing a Pinterest where people were like, check out this funky aquarium I built into the side of my house. And I just always think, like, how's Fish Mike going to get in there to clean it? Like I've seen in some places where the tanks are so big, the guy has to like put on a wetsuit and get in it. Like clean the thing from the inside while the fish are swimming by it. Right? You gotta. Just a word to the wise: if you're somehow wind up with an aquarium, not a fish tank, like you could deal with that, but like an aquarium, you're going to put in some money, and it's a lot. But it really pays off when a good job is done to it. Jared D says, we had a beta fish for kidlit, but after the 4th burial of plumbing, within 2 years, we stopped getting pets. Clean says, we had a catfish, we ate all our other fish. Did you eat the catfish? And that's another thing. People always have jokes like, yo, is that fish, is his name Lunch? Like, Clean says, OMG, aquarium people are the worst, though. The worst is Star Wars fanboys. There's so much hate for newbies. Yeah. Do you have an undergravel filter? I don't know. Is that salt water? Well, if you get salt water, you can't have fresh water. If you get fresh water, you got to get live plants. Like there's like a plant life community. Like you got to go to the special store and get like the real seeds. Oh my God. And this is another thing that's kind of died out of our super pet stores. Like PetSmart, it's not really popping in PetSmart. There used to be this place in Upper Darby. Shout out to Upper Darby, home of Tina Fey. On Garrett Road, called the world's largest aquarium, which is cool. And I remember we went in there once, and they had alligators in there. And this is a funny thing about like those rando mom and pop pet places. It's almost like if you own a comic book store and randos show up trying to sell you stuff. Yo, I got Superman #1 in my trunk. You probably don't have Superman #1 in your trunk, but let's see it. I remember there used to be a pet store in Jenkintown. Shout out to Bradley Cooper. That every time you went in there, they had a box of kittens for sale that somebody just dumped over there, and it's like, yo, I don't want these cats. Can you sell them? Yeah, man, whatever. And they would give them like $40, and then they would just write a number on the side of the box. It was really messed up. But we were at world's largest aquarium, and somebody had dropped off an alligator or something. Like somebody had a pet, and it got too big, and they didn't know what to do with it, so they brought it to the pet store. I don't know where I was going with that. It's crazy. Yeah, not pet smart. That's funny. But people are real serious about their communities. It's funny the way that works. This is a perfect time for an ID. You're watching Coffee Break with JN with your favorite internet best friend, Jamar Nicholas, aka JN, aka Johnny Carson, DBA, the Kevin Bacon of comics. That's real rap. The Black Dick Cavett, Philly Donahue. Shout out to the Waringos. What happens here? You get to watch me drink this coffee and run my mouth. When I'm out of coffee, video over. That's right. Put your hands on the video scope. Feel the power of my words. Feel the electricity. Feel the electricity. Yo, also, shout out to Carlos's family. Little baby girl made this bracelet for me. Looking real buttery. If you want one of these, get at me. I'll make sure we put the young lady through college with your money. Also, while I'm good looking out, people, good looking out to my GLOs, you know who you are. I'm sorry, I still need to update this. I keep saying that. I need to make another crawl. Thank you so much for your support. I can't do this stuff without you. The Patreon's growing. We're close to 50 Patronuses. You can be a Patronus too, if you'd like to find out how. Why don't you just roll over? I'm crowded. Where's my John at? I got too many things. Patreon.com/Jamar Nicholas. Oh, also shout out to my Threadless store. Go check that out. Studio Black Boss Threadless.com. I got a couple of joints up there. I got the classic Leon head. I got the classic Leon hero. I got the Tardy Boys Jolly Roger flag. It's good stuff. And I think sooner or later I'm going to get that caffeine mug, and maybe I'll put it on the Threadless store. That might be the best way for you guys to get it. Thank you. All right, I was trying to get rid of this joint. All right, here you go. Yo, Rich, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Hey, Tim, how are you? Oh, you changed your logo. That's what's up. Eternity forever. Can anybody fill eternity in on what they missed? I always enjoy when people show up at the butt end of the session. I don't think I'm that important. I don't expect anybody to go, oh, it's 9:00 EST. I better get ready for coffee break. Sue says coffee break with Jay and t-shirts. Okay. All right. Okay. That's what's up. Yeah, let's I have to come up with a design for it. That's fun. But y'all be showing up like 5 minutes before the thing's over. But it's good to see you anyway. Respect. So what did we talk? We talked about John Hughes movies. We talked about having an aquarium in your house. Thanks, Clean's the moderator. Clean says, quick recap: 80s horror films, John Hughes, pencil to pencil platforms, lots of pet talk. Jardy shirt front, Leon running, image caption, I'm running. Is this like a Dunkin' Donuts joint? Yeah, I've missed this, Suze. When it's over, y'all. Warning, when Jan starts shutting down, he's out. She says, say y'all goodbyes now, y'all. We're not done yet, but we're getting there. All right, Clean. Coffee check. All right, I gotta do some juggling here. Okay. So where were we at? We're at 50. What's the word? Thunderbird. What's the price? We are now at bow. Man, that hurts. Oh man, that means that we're almost out of time. This is like the Pee-wee's Playhouse of lives. The music plays, and then the little airplane takes off, and we out. Oh, I didn't put my branding on today. Sometimes I don't feel like we need it. You know what this is. I'll put it on for a second. Oh, also, Jody says, shirt back, image of coffee cup caption for coffee break with JN. I like it. You know what? All right, here's probably the last conversation we'll have. Graphic tees, right? Now, I already told you, I F's with a graphic tee. Or, sometimes I'll keep it real low key, just solid colors. I like solid colors. I've always run into issues with people who don't kind of assign themselves to t-shirts that just have things on the front. I have some friends that only like t-shirts that have like a small hit on the heart, and then there's a giant thing on the back. I wonder how you guys feel about that. Do you like front-facing logos and graphics on a graphic tee? Do you want anything on the back of your shirt? I can't stand little tiny things here. And then having something on the back. I'd rather have I don't know, maybe that's an attention thing. I remember when I was still teaching and dealing with like 4th and 6th graders, 7th and 8th graders, especially if you're at a school where they don't have a dress code and kids can wear what they want. All the boys have some sort of snarky phrase T-shirt, and boys that age wear the personality on their shirt. I paused my game to be here. Don't talk to me. Whatever. Like I was about to say, don't talk to me till I have my coffee. Sarcasm uploading, like that kind of stuff. But all of those are on the front, so you can see people see your shirt and react to it. I think it's a different type of person that wants to watch them leave or something. What's that old? It was like an old kind of like cat call thing. It was like, I hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you go, or something like that. I always thought that was fun. Tim Fielder. Yes, brother. Thank you. That's right. You get the bell. I like it. Thank you for your support, brother. Make it all worth your while. Jardy says alternate idea. Front top. Is it Thursday yet? Middle image of coffee mug. Front bottom coffee break with. Man, that's a lot. That's a lot on the shirt, bro. We'll figure it out. We'll have a committee. Says the girl in advertising. Always put your branding up. Yes. I'm gonna tattoo that on my stomach. Rich says front center graphic decent size, then small thing on top back. Oh, like on the neck, like the back of the neck. One of my favorite shirts is, this is kind of like in the weeds. In Tokyo, they have the arcades are really big in Japan. And they have the Taito game station arcades. And Taito's mascot is the Space Invader, right? So it's like the Space Invader. It's red. It's a Space Invader, and then it says Game Station, and then there's like a tiny little Space Invader on the back. And I got one of those shirts. I didn't get it from there, but somebody was making kind of like a Akiba adjacent shirt, and it's got the Space Invader, and it says Akiba Station on it, and it's got a little tiny Space Invader on the back. I like that. Yeah, Eternity, that's it. I'd hate to have you go, but I'd love to watch you leave. I'll get you canceled now. You can't say that kind of stuff to people. Well, everybody knows that one. Tell them Clean. Clean also says, I like a big graphic on the front, but they don't always read right depending on your body type. That's true. I know that one thing that drives a lot of people crazy is a lot of shirts are just black T-shirts with graphics on it, and I think sometimes it's hard to find an interesting shirt that's not a black T-shirt. You know, like I've been trying to mix up my things. I have like a couple of different colors. I didn't like white T-shirts for a long time, especially if you get the remember those commercials, Susie? You remember this one? The commercials where the guy's at the baseball game and he's like, "Yay, sports!" and he raises his arms and his canaries come out. Yellow canaries come out of his pits, and they're like, "Do you have yellow stains under your underarms?" And the right? If you pit up your shirts, you can't rock with like light color shirts, right? Because that's not a good look. Or if you have a shirt that you love and you wear it so much and it's all kind of like discolored under there, you gotta get rid of that shirt, fam. So yeah, it makes like black T-shirts are probably the easiest things to get away with. Sue says bucket hat is very on trend according to Access Hollywood tonight. JM always on trend. That's right. I'm always camera ready. Really, they said bucket hats are trending. Where do you think that came from? That's right. I've been rocking the bucket. It's funny. I was looking at these old pictures, and if you see my baby picture, I'm wearing a bucket hat in my baby picture. We was doing this back in the 70s, fam. Yeah. Carlos, uh, Carlos says the Penny Arcade shirts are like that with the small PA logo on the top of the back. Yeah, I like that stuff. Um, One of my favorite shirts. Now I'm name dropping. One of my favorite shirts was Jerry and Mike gave me uh roll for was it no was it oh I roll 20s. It just said that on the front. I roll 20s with a little 20 sided on it. I don't know what happened to that shirt. That was like back in when I was doing Detective Boogaloo and just like the world was opening up. It was a fantastic time for me. And people were like excited to meet me. I wonder what happened. That was a long time ago. Yo, Adam, what's up? Reed Punk Taco. How are you, brother? Hey, Mama Carla, how are you? EPMD, we're back in business. Oh, you know what? This is interesting. I think the term bucket hat is just kind of like a filler for anything that's not a fitted baseball cap. Like this, I almost feel like a bucket hat is kind of like that, not like a Kango, but close. It's just kind of like, but it's not like a trilby either. So this is kind of like a fisherman hat, but it's not a fisherman hat because there's no band around it. But yeah, I think bucket is probably the easiest thing to call it. All right, brother. Have a good night. Yeah, JRD would love to call this a Gilligan hat. My first exposure to those hats were Gilligan, which debuted in '59. Were those naval casual wear in the '50s? Then Luke wore one on Tatooine. Then you did High Rocco. Yeah, see, represent. Yeah, his was kind of like it was almost kind of like it was more like rounded. It was like crested on the top. So yeah, I mean, it's I guess if there's no better word for this style of hat, you can call it a bucket hat. Um, Other ones like you see military dudes where they call those boonie hats, like those ones that have the the neck strap under it that are kind of like like this to keep the sun out of your eyes, right? Or like a fisherman hat. One of the big reasons we're doing a deep dive of bucket hats now. Are they called bucket hats because they almost go on like a bucket? Yeah, it is. It is, and it isn't, and it is, and it isn't. But yeah, like a legit fisherman hat has a band around it, so you put your lures in it. People forgot about Luke rocked the Luke rocked the bucket. Nike Airs check, bucket hat check. Um, wow, we're going over you guys. I didn't know we'd be talking about bucket hats. But yes, so one of the interesting things I think was just in hip hop or just kind of like street fashion is well, especially back from where I came from, is that you would kind of take things. I don't even want to call it appropriation because it's different. I don't know. Like if you think about like early b-boying and like some of the early hip hop fashions, which were just taken from things that you probably would never have any access to. Like when b-boys would rock ski goggles. You ain't going skiing in the middle of Brooklyn, but you would rock those a little to the side, right, with your leather baseball cap, and it was just fresh, right? Or I'm trying to think of other things. Timberlands, like all of that stuff was kind of maybe taken from some other place, but it just you kind of put your own spin on it. Like, I remember people saying forever about how, the Timberland people ain't really want us rocking with their stuff. Same thing with polo. We could talk about low lives. We could do all that stuff. We could talk about fashion a whole other time. But it's kind of like, so it's really hard to say, because I guess you could really get into a conversation about appropriation. But I think it's that appropriation came from a different place. We might have to do a part 2 on that. I don't want to get into that. Wait, hold on. There's another bucket hat thing here. I just missed it. I think it was Eternity. JRD says Colonel Blake wore a similar one in MASH. Would that be a boonie hat? He wore Lord. No, that was a fisherman hat. Trade got it right. It's like we're saying the same thing. And fisherman hats have wider brims too. Avoid sun bucket, small rim. Yeah. Thanks, TJ. Yeah, like a bucket hat's kind of, that's what I was trying to say before. It's kind of like, and the fisherman hats have wider brims. Yeah, you got that aligns with my interests. Yeah, Adam, that's a good way to put it. It's like sampling clothes and styles. I came across somebody, I forget the person's name, who on Instagram has this amazing Insta full of old street fashion photos from the 80s and 90s. It looked like this person, like their subject was young ladies in the city, and this was like kind of like heavy mid 80s to early 90s, and they deal with the whole like door knocker earring, like trunk jewelry, like gold on every finger, and everybody was fly, and then the girls would do that hands on hip pose. That's my favorite thing of all time. And there are a lot of club photos, if you know what I mean. If you go to the club, there's always like a really usually not great illustration, like an airbrush of a Ferrari, or there's like a wicker chair and everybody would stunt and take flicks in front of the backdrop. And like, that's the whole subject of the Instagram. Is fascinating because like, I just saw like a lot of crushes, like, yo, I totally like girls that look like that back then. It was crazy. But the fashion was so sharp, and there's a lot of leather, a lot of Gucci, a lot of Fila, a lot of like you saw like track suits come through. The gangster wear like leather trench coats, with like it's so good. There's a really cool book. I don't know if you know who Jamel Shabazz is, who was a street photographer. There's a couple of really well-known hip-hop photographers like Brother Ernie Panicoli, Sip of Coffee for Brother Ernie, Jamel, the graffiti historians, Martha Cooper and Henry Chalfant, people who were just documenting the culture while it was happening when nobody believed this stuff was real. And it was almost like these people were like, well, especially like Martha and Henry, who were like, yeah, we're going to go to Harlem, as they say, these kids are like dancing on cardboard. We're just going to go check that out. But yeah, if you look at some of those old flicks, like even like Ricky Powell, who did a lot of the most iconic hip hop photos, rest in peace, Ricky Powell. Like, I believe Ricky did that famous Run DMC image. That's my favorite hip hop image of all time. I talked about it before, where Run DMC are stunting in front of the Eiffel Tower. That's such a powerful image. So just the idea of chronicling this stuff and taking, again, kind of going back to pencil for another night, being amazed from people who make something out of nothing. And I feel like that's kind of what hip hop culture came from. That's hip hop. Right. But now we're talking about MASH. I got to get out of here, you guys. Eternity says, my boyfriend in the 90s wore the EPMD hat just because they wore that style of hat. He also had a Jerry curl. Sip of coffee for Jerry curl. Let your soul glow, fam. All right, you guys, this was a lot of fun. Clean is right. You sparked my passion with that hat talk. I could talk about hats all day. No, we don't do two cops. We're in OT already. I'll be up all night. But guys, Suze, you know what to do. Tell them to get us out of here. We're gonna start saying those goodbyes, guys. Thank you so much. It looks like coffee break is starting to roll into the hour plus. I gotta shave this back down, but we're having so much fun. Oh, yo, I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna show you some of my Patreon rewards because they're right in front of me. So this is something that I just had, and this is going out to my Mr. Postman tier. The Mr. Postman tier is $10, and I send you stuff. That's the mailing tier. It started off with me doing sketch cards, and then I just started running out of bandwidth to draw sketch cards, and I got really behind. And then my boy Mike Hawthorne was doing stickers, and I was like, oh, word. I love stickers, and I've been rocking with that for a while. So we're doing stickers, we're doing acrylic pens, and you just get fresh stuff every month. And I'm a little behind, so I'm sending out a fat pack. Here's one of the newest things that's going out. Oh no, you need that. How can you get on that? How can you be about that lifestyle? Well, I'll show you. You see the John down there. Get with it. And this one's hard to see. I got it. Oh, my nails are filthy. This is the Ashy Stream sticker. If you're a fan of my Patreon, I do Ashy streams. I do live drawing streams where we get to hang out and you watch me draw. Welcome to Ashy Stream, where your ashy dreams come true. So you know what to do. Get up on that. Get up on this. Yeah, Eternity, and I don't know if you know about Detective Boogaloo. There's a lot of my early support came from my webcomic Detective Boogaloo Hip Hop Cop. So that's the tagline for that. And I have, I've been doing Leon stuff for a while, and Detective Boogaloo is always in the wings. JRD says, yeah, I stole that idea of yours and Mike's. I'm going to send stickers every quarter to all my $5 patrons. Yeah, people love mail, man. Mailman. Oh. All right, you guys, let's get out of here. Bye, y'all. Another great coffee break. Thanks, Suze. Yo, man, don't hurt him, bro. Thank you. All right, you guys, we had a lot of fun tonight. I'm going to put this to bed. Thank you so much for your support, your love. I can't do this without you. So let's take it home. You've been watching Coffee Break with JN with Philadelphia's favorite son, the ambassador of Philadelphia, the Kevin Bacon of comics, Johnny Carson, PM John, Paper Doll, Jamar Nicholas. What happened here? You got to hang out with me. We broke bread, family. Watch me run my mouth and drink coffee. But now that I'm out of coffee, this video's over. See you next